Dawn and Christopher, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is William Shakespeare, right? Who I believe is
interesting
and unnecessary.
You're boring because this is the PG version.
I've studied Shakespeare. I've got numerous qualifications related to Shakespeare. I do understand it if someone's doing it. If it's Serene McKellen or whatever playing a part, absolutely appreciate all of that. But I don't see why every child at every school should have Shakespeare rammed down their throat.
Well, no, quite. This story is it's an £800,000 project funded by the Arts and Humanities Research Council at the University of Roehampton, has found that basically Shakespeare's made theatre to Pall, Mall and Style. Well, of course it blooming well has, hasn't it? Because what else was around in Shakespeare's time? Actors were men, it was white, and they were probably older as well. I mean, it's just ridiculous, but it's taxpayers' money being funded on something that is just frankly ridiculous and that we don't need to be... It's more wokeness.
Do you know what I'd like?
It's gone woke.
Yeah, do you know, I would like to go and see a Shakespeare's Greatest Hits over 2 hours or so. A scene from Macbeth, a scene from As You Like It, or whatever it happens to be. But I'm not interested in the overall 2.5, 3 hours of...
Yeah, I think it depends. I mean,
What have you done? What have you...
Well, years ago, I played Puck in A Midsummer Night's Dream. In fact, it was Regent's Park Open Air Theatre. In fact, I was the best Puck in the park that year.
Very good.
It was. I really enjoyed it. But you can go along and see Shakespeare and be thrilled, and you can go along and be bored. That is the fascinating thing.
Did you actually understand the lines that you were reciting?
I did, because I made a point of understanding them, because I wanted the audience to understand them. But often, I don't think that's a very good point you've made, because I don't think people do know what they're saying.
I don't think you can go and watch a Shakespeare play unless you already know it. It's almost like you have to understand the story and the characters, and perhaps have even done a bit of reading into it. Because if you went completely blind, especially in today's world where we don't speak in that kind of way, it is, I think, probably a bit alienating.
But Dawn is saying it is alienating at the moment because of the lack of representation.
You know, the actual phrasing they use, right, OK, the disproportionate representation propagated white, able-bodied, heterosexual, cisgender male narratives. I'm sure there's people sitting in a room going, what's the most ridiculous thing we can come up with today?
Yes.
But really, just chuck all these words at it, cisgender, and it's just insane. Of course, Shakespeare was what it was back in the day, and that's why it's mostly blokes and they're mostly white.
And lots of speculation that he was actually gay, isn't there? Because he never really saw Anne Hathaway very often and stayed away a lot of the time. I don't know, maybe he was a big...
He might have been transgender for all I know. I mean, I don't...
Biggins, I'm looking at you.
No, I think you're right. I mean, I think that goes for the profession too. I mean, I do think I mean, I remember seeing Macbeth in London with Judi Dench and Ian McKellen, and it was one of the most exciting evenings ever. And it was a cold night at the Donmar Theatre, outside and inside, and that gave it atmosphere. There are certain things that you go along and see something else, and you think, I'll walk out in the interval.
Yeah. Macbeth is a sexy play, though.
It is and it's a short play, too.
Yeah.
Because often...
Let's talk about... there's so many. Can I live to be 100?
Oh, this is depressing.
I think it is depressing. I like to stay here now. I don't want to live to 100.
Oh, don't say that.
And I'm right behind you.
I don't even want to. My father died at 63. That'll be me gone this year. And I don't see the point. There's no point living longer if you're not living better.
But
I agree.
You've got your grandchildren. Surely you want to see them married.
Oh, I couldn't care less. I don't like weddings anyway. No, I'm not sitting... No, but listen. As you get older, you realise no one cares about you, right?
It's not true.
No, but it is true.
I mean, we care. We do care about
you.
it.
No, people say, it's awful. Eamonn's in that chair, it's awful.
My mum's 74 today, and I dread it.
Happy birthday, Mum.
Yeah, happy birthday, Mum. But I adore my mum, and I want her to live to see my children married, and
well, what if her knees are hurting, her back's hurting, and her ears are hurting, and whatever?
Keep going.
I tell you, I don't want to be. Biggins, what's your point?
No, I would absolutely hate it. Another 25 years of this life? Yes. No, thank you very much. Yeah. No, I've had it. And
you know, the serious point is that they think that we're being curmudgeonly or whatever about this. When you suffer pain and anxiety...
absolutely.
And you can't hear and you can't see and you can't do whatever it is... what is the point?
No, and I don't want to be pooing my pants, and,
yeah.
throwing up and all that business.
Well, wait till you do poo your pants, and then you will think about it, because that's what you have nursing care for, and that's why nurses should be paid more than anybody else in the country.
Absolutely, what they have to go through looking after us oldies.
Welcome to Breakfast TV. I hope you're having a lovely meal.
I don't know. We've got